want to make sure that that is right. That just seems like too good to be true, especially after May. I think I'm traumatized from what happened in May. Welcome to my June monthly budget closeout. Today we are going to take all of our numbers from our spending from June, plug them back into our monthly budget, see how we did. What was the difference? What was our difference on our planned income? What was our difference on our planned spending? And see one of three things. Were we over budget, under budget, or right on budget? If we were over budget, what are we gonna do? Are we in debt now? Do we have money we can transfer from savings to cover those expenses? Are we under budget, where we get to transfer extra money to savings? This is my favorite place to be in, and so far from where I was in May. If you saw my May monthly budget closeout, you'll know we way overspent. So we were more that first category in May. June, I'm hoping will be more the second category. And the third category is where you write on budget, which is extremely rare. Your monthly budget is a good picture of your plan, and it's very rare that you actually spend exactly, like exact change, what you planned, but it's great to be as close to that number as possible. You're always gonna be a little bit one way or the other.
Hi, I'm Megan with Bethel Budgets. I'm here because it's more than just math. At some point, you've probably built a budget. You've laid out your income, you've laid out your expenses, and thought it's simple math. I'll just stick to what's on the paper. But then life happened and your budget didn't work out. The reason? Because it's more than just math. That's where I come in. Let's figure this out together. Don't give up. You've got this.
Before we jump into my monthly budget closeout, I want to thank you for being here. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and then let me know in the comments that you have subscribed so I can personally welcome you to my channel. Also, please share my videos. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers. We just got over 220 the other day, and I was just so excited by that. I really want this channel to grow. I started this YouTube channel so I could help my budget babes. Budget Babes is a support group I run in my community where I help these women learn to budget, learn to debt dig, and set them up with a plan. I take them out for coffee, we get them all set up. Once a quarter, we invite their spouses to come in and we learn how to have conversations around money, around finances, what's our goals, what's our dreams, and how are we gonna get there. I can't be there for all of these families all of the time. So when I'm not available, instead of coming to me, they could maybe go look up my monthly budget closeout video and learn how to do it, or do it alongside of me, even if I'm not available in that moment, to sit with them and help them. So it is an extension of me that they can get help from me even if I'm not there. And the second reason that I started this YouTube channel was to hopefully get monetized and be able to pay for the coffees that I take them out to, or the lunches that I take them out to, or the events that we do where we are bringing in their husbands and their kids, and we're paying for childcare and food and event spaces and things like that. So we do all of these things with Budget Babes. I'm not out to make any money. It's just something that I want to be able to support my habit, my Budget Babes habit. I love what I do. I love doing Budget Babes, but it is an investment of my time and my money. So if we can get monetized, that will help. So share these videos. Tell everybody that you've been watching this Budget Babe lady with the purple hair and to come see what she's all about. So I appreciate you subscribing and I appreciate you sharing my videos. Let's jump into our monthly budget closeout. On the screen here, you can see that I have my every dollar open. This is where I had my June budget plugged in at the beginning of the month. I track my spending. Every time I swipe my card, it comes through, and then I put it in the correct category that it goes in. And then over here we have my monthly budget spreadsheet. So this was my planned categories, my planned due dates, and my planned spending for the month. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna plug in what I actually received for my income and what I actually spent in my spending categories, and we're gonna see what the difference was and how we did. The goal at the end is to see what our actual income was and our actual expenses and see what our ending balance was. If we overspent, this number will be red. If we underspent, this number will be green. If we were right on, the number will be black. If we overspent, we're gonna have to see what are we gonna do about that. We gotta come up with a plan. If we underspent, then we can go take that money that is green on the spreadsheet there, and we can go look at our priority list for extra income and see how we're going to apply that. Is our next financial goal to save up for our emergency fund? Is our next financial goal to pay off debt? Is our next financial goal to save for our sinking funds? Whatever our next financial goal is in the priorities list for extra income, that's where that money's going to go to. My next goal is to fill up my sinking funds. My emergency fund is fully funded. My debt is paid off except for my phone, which you can hear about in my emergency fund update video. So my next big goal that I'm working on is funding my sinking funds. I'm hoping this number is green by the end of this video and that we get to plug in a bunch of extra money into our sinking funds. So let's get started. Let me plug in these income numbers and I'll be right back with you. So our June income is looking really good. I made an extra $2.58 there. Let's see what that was from. That was actually supposed to be for my transfers. So I need to make sure that I transfer that over from one of the cash apps that I use for receipt scanning. And then the rest of that was interest. So I need to make sure I transfer that over either way because I already counted for that. This is why I have a checklist for everything. So I need to go make sure I check that off that list and transfer that over. We made a couple extra $100 in income from my husband. We used to do $2,400 in income from his, and now we're going to do $2,500 in income. This $300 was just like a bonus that he's paying us out to try to make up for some of the extra spending we did in May. So we have like $400 extra in income. So let's go down to tithe. I'm going to click over from remaining to spend. There we go. So tithe, we spent $726.60. So some of this number is off because we made more money and we tithe 10% off what we actually make. So while we planned $686, we spent $726, and the 60 cents is just the fees from doing it online. So that's what that is. Lump sum payments, I'm not putting that in until the end because I'm hoping that'll be way more than $886. I hope. It wasn't in May. In May, we actually had to dip into that, which was very disappointing for me. Housing, let's scroll down to housing and see how we did in housing. Okay, water, sewer, trash was a save month. Electricity, we do budget billing, and so we used less electricity last year than we had the previous year. So we got a prorated amount for this bill. So while I planned to pay $149, I only had to pay $17.44, which means that our next month's bill should look a little different. What they'll do is they'll take that usage over last year and they'll create a new budget billing amount. And I need to look that up because I already did my July budget and I need to figure out what that new number is going to be. I don't know if I'll actually go back and change it or if I'll just take the extra and for July and transfer it to savings and then fix it for August. But I do need to go look up what that new budget billing amount is. And then this internet thing, again, I planned 50, but we've been getting this grant and they keep telling me the grant is over and then it comes through. So I'll take that extra $36 in savings. As long as they want to give it to me, I will happily take that. Let's go down to groceries. This is gonna hurt. The food category always hurts me so bad. So for July, I gave it up. I'm not going to stick to $1,200 anymore. I've upped my budget to $1,500. We'll see if we can stick to that. I'm going to enter these numbers and I'll be right back. Okay, like I said, the food category hurts every single time. So we overspent in groceries by $300, but next month I upped my category to $1,500. So hopefully that won't be a problem. All these other ones, we were so close. Like this is $11 over, $6 over, and $16 over. I'm not gonna beat ourselves up over that too bad. It stinks that this number's red, but like I said at the beginning of this video in the intro, our monthly budget this is what we want to stick to. This is our plan. And yeah, it's better to stay under that plan, but you're gonna be a little bit over or a little bit under. And in food, we are always a couple dollars over. Someday we'll figure it out. But we have to actually figure it out for next month because we lowered date night dining out to 100. So we only get one date a month instead of two. we'll do one dining out date and then one free date. And then fellowship, we went down to 75 so that we could put some of those funds into groceries and still be able to save. So we're paring down some of our spending a little bit on food. So that's going to be hard to stick to and get used to. Whenever you change your budget around, it takes a little getting used to. So we have to have grace for ourselves, but also keep reminding ourselves to stick with it. And that takes lots of conversations. So as I update these categories every day, I'll have to talk to my husband like, hey, we only have $20 left in fellowship, or, you know, we already went out to eat on our date night. So next date got to be a free date. And so it's just lots of conversations we have to have. Let's go down to transportation, see how we did there. Transportation looks good. We planned 300, we only spent $234.10. And car wash, we didn't do a fancy car wash. We just did the quick car wash that my husband likes to do, which was $10. So we are green in that category, which I like. Now let's go to personal. There's nothing under spouse business. Phone, okay, $68.31. This is our last phone bill at that amount. And now next month is gonna be way higher because we have 2 teenagers with cell phones now. Okay, so we overspent in these categories here just a little bit though. We have shopping, we were over by $2.79. And kids' events and birthdays were over by $3.29. However, for hair, that's the wrong number. For hair, we saved $88. So we're doing pretty good in that category. I'm not mad about that. Let's scroll over and go to lifestyle. I'm sorry if you can hear my kids. They're playing this game. I promise those are happy screams. If you hear my kids screaming, they are all 4 happily playing together, and it's getting a little loud. But those are like happy squeals, not angry screams. So I'm letting it go. But I'm sorry if you can hear them. And if you're a mom, I hope you understand. They are happy squeals, and there's definitely a difference there. So childcare was 0. Let's go pet care. Let me enter these numbers and I'll be right back. For these lifestyle numbers, this mosquito treatment, I am not sure what happened. Last month, it was more than I expected, or was that this month? I don't know. The last treatment was more than I expected. So I talked to my husband. He's like, oh yeah, that was just the introductory rate. And then now they charged me twice in 1 month. And I'm like, is that because it was like the very beginning of the month and the very end of the month? Was that technically supposed to be July's payment? I don't know. But again, this is his department. He's going to have to figure that out. If it's a due date thing, I can live with it. But if they're going to charge me that much a month, I'm not doing that. And I found out that some cities will come spray for free for mosquitoes. He's going to look into that too. I had my husband put that on his to-do list so that he can figure out if our city does free mosquito treatments. And if so, why are we paying? And if not, still, why are we paying this much? The other place that we used was like $78 a month. It was going up to $86 a month this year, which is why we shopped around. But $84 twice a month is more. So I don't know what's happening. We're gonna have to figure it out. I'm not happy. That makes me upset. And then unplanned, this is my category. I assigned $0 to my monthly budget for unplanned. And then if something happens that surprises me, it goes in there. Let's see what that was. That was my Remarkable subscription. I pay for that yearly. I used to pay that monthly, so I never did a sinking fund for it. And then I realized you get this big discount if you pay for it yearly. And when I switched to yearly, I didn't create a sinking fund. It was just like $29, so it would technically not be within my sinking fund rules, except for that it's a yearly thing that I don't remember. So it's in my sinking fund list now, even though it's only $29. If it's a yearly thing, I like to have it in my sinking funds list, just so that I don't forget it. I can put $29 in my budget, but I don't want to forget that it's coming. So that's why it's there. Swim lessons, we saved money on because somebody stepped up and paid for my daughter's swim lessons in the month of June. I was just so blessed by that. This person was excited to hear about what we've been doing with Budget Babes, loves my channel, wants us to continue, found out we were going to do swim lessons and beat me to the punch and paid the person that we were doing swim lessons from for the swim lessons in advance. So Thank you so much for paying for those. That was a huge blessing for me and my daughter. She is just improving so much and so fast, and I'm just so proud of her. And I thank you so much for your generosity there. And then pay chores. We put this fund in sort of in the middle of the month of June. My kids are really into doing pay chores and getting paid for the things that they do, and I wanted to have enough money. I was going broke. I've got 4 kids wanting to do pay chores, and I didn't have enough money to pay them, so I made it a line item. Gym membership, that was $26.64, and I'm so disappointed. Right at the last minute, we had a doctor bill come out on my regular credit card instead of my HSA card. I thought I made it all the way through June without that happening, but I didn't. I'm disappointed, but someday I'll get that fixed. Mortgage and our cell phone that we're paying for, we chose to keep that on a 0% credit card. You can hear about that in my emergency fund update video. I'm not going to go into it here. Spouse spending. My husband went way overboard with his spending, but my kids were right on. I know I did there. I wonder if we have some transactions that haven't gone through yet, or if I put them in the wrong place. Why did only my oldest go through? Did I forget? So I sat down and I budgeted with my kids, but I'm wondering if in that process I forgot to do their actual transfers. So I'm gonna mark it like I did their transfers. And as soon as I stop filming, I'm going to go do the transfer. So $12 plus $9.99. I feel like I should be able to do that math. That's $21.99. And then child 3 gets 10. That's not even in the right category. This is 12. This should be $19.99. This is in the wrong place. There we go. Okay. So I will go do those transfers as soon as I'm done filming. I don't know what happened there other than I must have just forgotten to do those. But I know I sat down and budgeted with them. So I only spent $26.22 out of my budget. We're still in the negative there. All right, so we had some categories in the green and some categories in the red. Here, right here is where we see I planned $6,858. Income, I planned $6,858 in expenses. So I had a zero-based budget, and then we've seen how well I stuck to it with all of the spending. Now let's see what our end result was. Okay. Oh, it's a green number. Oh, that's a really green number. No way. Is that right? $1,428. I mean, I'm happy about that. Well, we had $400 in extra income. There's $300 we didn't spend there. Oh, because we had, okay. I'm just doing a double check real quick because I'm kind of a negative person and I want to make sure that that is right. That just seems like too good to be true. Especially after May. I think I'm traumatized from what happened in May. Okay. I think that's right. Yeah, because I planned 200 there and that didn't go through, or we didn't have to pay. Somebody blessed us there. Okay. So that's really good. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Okay, so $1,428.55. Now, $150 of that is for that water, sewer, trash, so I can't transfer that to savings. That has to stay in there for the next water, sewer, trash bill. That gives us $1,275.55 to transfer. Can you see that? That's really exciting. $1,275.55 to transfer to our sinking funds, because according to our priorities list for extra income, that is our next priority that we are working on. I'm so excited about that. Oh, I needed that so much. May was so bad, and it was so embarrassing that I'm really excited to be back on track. That feels really good. That feels so much better than May. $1,275.55 that I will be able to put into our sinking funds this month. This is an important step to do in your monthly budget. What this does is this will help to refine our spending for next month. So had I not closed out in May and seen how bad we actually did in our May budget, especially with groceries, with our grocery budget, I'm looking for groceries. With our grocery budget, we went absolutely bonkers. We did some traveling in May, but that whole food category was just so out of whack. So what I did for July was I upped our planned spending for food. So knowing what you spent last month helps you to plan better for the next month ahead. I'm excited to see that number to go into savings for us. Last month, it was not that way. So it's important to do this so you know what your next step is. If you're over budget, you have to come up with a plan. Look, if you overspend, you have to identify what went wrong and you have to come up with a plan to fix it. And you have to use that to plan better for next month. If you have extra cash, congratulations. You go look at your priorities list for extra income and figure out what you're going to do with it. But you have to close out your monthly budget. This is the most important step in the budgeting process. You build your monthly budget, great. You track all your expenses, that's awesome. Now you close out your budget, figure out how you're going to refine the process for next time. Keep going. You've got this.